What kind of things at that time when you were dealing with like contracts did you see as being things that artists need to try and avoid to not get jammed up? Because maybe some of those things are still the same but just worded a bit differently.
You know, back then it was kind of like I kind of had like this kind of like schizophrenic type of practice because I either represented artists or I represented production companies and small labels.
Yeah.
So when I represented the artists, I was like, one thing for certain, always keep your publishing. Always keep your answer. If it's royalties and the whole nine, they're going to take that, but always own your publishing. As someone representing the record companies or the production companies, like always get the publishing.
Assets.
Your assets, your assets that have nothing to do, your intangible assets, your proprietary interests that has nothing to do with the sales of records. Publishing has nothing to do with the sales of records. Now, what's happened now, and I can't even imagine practicing law right now, is you can't even get into the game unless you give them your merchandise, you give them your publishing, you give them your tour money, all these things that have nothing to do with selling records. But I get it. It's the way business is right now because record sales aren't the driving force right now. It's almost kind of like a promotional tool for everything else.
Just not to go into it too much, but why is publishing important? Because I know people are sold publishing for like $5,000.
What's that famous song by Audio 2? Milk is chillin', Giz is chillin'. What more can I say? Top Billin'. Top Billin'. So Top Billin', I'll give you a perfect example. Milk D, right? Wrote Top Billin'. Small hip hop song that became a staple in the hip hop industry. He was very fortunate because his father owned the record label and he got to keep his publishing. He didn't have to compromise with his publishing. So he had a mentor early on in the late 80s to keep your publishing. There's probably no hip hop record sample more than Top Billing. From Mary J. Blige, I Get Money with 50 Cent. That record has been sampled hundreds of times. Every time somebody samples it, they have to pay Milk a check. Recently had Milk on my show, and he said, I have no debt because of one record. Because every time somebody wants to sample that record, they have to pay me. So he's been getting a check off that record for the past 30 some odd years. And that's not counting how he continues to make his money. That's not counting him doing shows. That's not counting however else he makes his money. That one record fueled him to be able to retire at an early age.
Wow.
So if you just have one or two or three or four or 15 or 20 or 100 records that are sampled or utilized over and over and over again, that money comes to the source. It's the gift that never stops giving.